If you're new to boots, it can be really difficult to know where to start. There's so many options out there and they all vary in quality and price. In this video, I wanted to talk about some of my favourite boots. They're all really easy to style and they go with pretty much anything. I've got some boots on the more affordable end and some that are quite pricey, but I think there's going to be something for everyone on this list. I'll link all of the boots that I talk about in this video down in the description below, so if anything tickles your fancy, check out the description box. If you like this video at any point, please do leave it a like. And now that's all out the way, let's get into the boots. So I thought we'd start off with combat boots first, and then we'll move into the Chelsea boots and the other types of boots later on in the video. But it feels right to start this video off with one of the most iconic boots out there, and it's the 1460 by Doc Martens. Now this boot, you probably all know it by now, but they're an absolute classic. And they're worn by people of all ages who are into all sorts of different styles. They're timeless, they never go out of style, so there's never a bad time to pick a pair of these up. Personally, I like the mono version of this shoe over the yellow stitch version of this shoe. I just think it looks a lot more sleek and it's a lot easier to dress up. Now, I must say, the quality on Doc Martens isn't quite what it used to be in the good old days, but they're still iconic and I still love them. But if you do want a slightly better quality boot that look like the 1460s, then check out the brand Viron. Now they're actually the company that used to help make Doc Martens back in the day, so their boots are really similar to the original Docs. Now I'm not going to go into depth about which boot is better, because that's a whole video in itself, but for some reason I just prefer the look of Doc Martens over the Viron. I can't put my finger on why, but I just prefer them. But whichever boot you decide to go for, you can't really go wrong, and I think you're going to have a hard time finding anything better and more stylish for the price. But if you don't mind spending a bit more and you want something with a similar silhouette, then check out the Type 165 from Adieu. They are quite a bit more expensive than both the Viron and the Doc Martens, so you have to decide if that extra price is worth it for you. Personally, I'd just pick up a pair of the 1460s, but I wanted to give you some more options. The next boot we've got on the list is from the French brand Viron. Now these boots caught my eye straight away. I think I was flicking through Farfetch and I came across these boots. I fell in love with them and I had to have a pair. Viron are a really new brand. I think they've only been around since 2020, but they're already making big moves in the fashion industry. They focus heavily on sustainability, and they've got a bit of a grungy or cybergoth aesthetic. Now, I wouldn't say my style is grungy or cybergoth-like, but I do like to incorporate pieces from different styles into my own, because I think you get a more unique look that way. Now, this boot ranges from about £150 to £200 depending on where you live. Here in the UK, I paid £195 for them. That's because of import duties. Annoying, but that's the way it is. I really love the silhouette of this shoe. I love the way that chunky sole adds contrast to that slimmer upper, and the toe box is perfect for my liking. Not too rounded, but not too pointy either. And I must say they are very comfortable, which is always a good thing when you buy a new pair of shoes. The boot also has some lovely features. I really love that white writing on the side. It really makes the boot for me. And I love that extra bit of material on the side of the boot. The height of this shoe is absolutely perfect for me as well, and I love the way it sits snug to my calf. These boots aren't made out of leather, they're actually made out of apple waste. Delicious. I didn't think I'd ever say that I'd be wearing a pair of boots made out of apple waste, but at least it's a talking point. But yeah, I think they're a lovely looking boot, they'll go with everything, and they're definitely unique. So the next boot we've got is the Lorenzo boot from the First. Now what attracted me to this boot is that it looks quite similar to the Dior Navigate boot, which is one of my favourite looking boots of all time. I personally like the grained leather version of this boot because it's a bit more muted. I'm not a fan of shiny boots. Now even though they're a fraction of the price of the Dior boot, they're still quite pricey. But they're beautifully made, they're made of Italian leather, and they do look beautiful in my opinion, so you get what you pay for. Now before we get into the Chelsea boots, I just want to run through some other combat boots really quickly. The reason I'm running through them quickly is because they're either sold out currently, or there's like one size left, or they're in the sale, so they will sell out soon. But I do want to mention them just in case they come back in stock. So the first are from Ami Paris, and I absolutely love the look of this boot. It's quite a lot chunkier than the other combat boots on the list, but I think it really works. Now these are currently half price, but unfortunately they're not in my size, but hopefully they'll bring them back in at some point. Next we've got the chunky mudguard boot from Arquette, and they've only got one size left, and again, not in my size. they've got more of the Chelsea boot in this same style, but I prefer the lace-up version of this shoe. Now, I know these were very popular. I know quite a lot of people who watched my videos picked a pair of these up, but I don't think they've been on sale for that long, so they might restock them. And also, we've got the Pistols from Officine Creative. I think I actually prefer the suede model of this boot, but I just don't think I'd want a suede boot. But yeah, they're a nice looking boot either way. Okay, so that's the combat boots. Let's move on to the Chelsea boots next. Now, I've got a few different options for Chelsea boots, all varying in price, so don't be scared off by the first one, because it is very expensive. But it's the Bottega lug boot. Now, this is a very popular boot for good reason. They're a beautiful looking pair of boots. They're really easy to style and they go with pretty much anything. Now, I love how snug these boots sit to your calf. A lot of Chelsea boots sit away from your calf, and I find my trousers always get caught on the top. Well, that's not going to happen with these. But yeah, whatever style of trousers you're into, whether it's slim fit, baggy trousers, crop trousers, they're all going to work perfectly well with this boot. Now, I was actually considering buying a pair of these boots not that long ago, but I don't wear boots enough to justify spending that kind of money. I also really love the tyre version of this boot. It's just got that extra bit of detail that makes the boot look a bit more interesting without being over the top. But yeah, beautiful looking boots. If you can afford them and you wear boots a lot, then I'd highly recommend picking up a pair. They won't go out of style, I don't think, so you can wear them for years to come. And also, just worth mentioning, if you want something that looks really similar to the Bottegas, but something a bit more low-key, then check out these boots from Marcel. The only real difference is in the sole, so if you can pick these up for cheaper and you like them just as much, then these might be worth getting. But if you don't wear boots that often and you don't want to spend that much on a pair of boots, I don't blame you. Then ASOS has some for about 55 quid that look quite similar. Now, the ASOS boots are definitely not as sleek looking as the Bottegas, and they're definitely not going to hold up as well. But if you don't wear boots that often and you want something that looks similar, then try these out. And also the brand I was talking about earlier, Viron, if you like the look of the boots I showed you earlier but you prefer a Chelsea boot, then they have one of these too, so they might be worth checking out. But there's plenty of other more affordable Chelsea boots out there. There's some from COS, Arquette, Diesel that I've seen, and I'll link some options in the description below. Next, we've got a boot that I've always liked, and it's from Ande Meulemeister. Now, these boots have a sleek and timeless design, and I feel they'd suit any occasion. And I love the laces around the back of the boot. I think it adds a really nice bit of detail to the boot, and it keeps the front of the boot really clean, really minimal, and really simple to style. Now, the sole on these boots is a little bit slimmer than I'd usually go for at the moment, but I think it works really well with this boot. The slimmer sole definitely makes this boot more versatile in my opinion. You could definitely wear this boot for more smart occasions, and I think because it's got a slimmer sole, it will stand the test of time a lot more than some of the other boots on this list. Now, I've always wanted a pair of these boots, and maybe one day I'll get them. I'm not sure if they'd really suit my style, but because I'm more into sneakers, I just can't spend that kind of money on a pair of boots. But that's all I've got time for this week. I hope you enjoyed that video. Let me know which pair of boots were your favourite in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, please do leave it a like. If you're new here, don't forget to hit subscribe, and I will see you all next week. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. See you later.